Hi, it's Professor Bernstein, and in this presentation, I'm going to teach you how to format a works cited page using MLA style, and I'll also show you how to create an entry for a book as well as for an article that is published in a scholarly journal. So the first thing you need to know is that the works cited page is a separate page that appears at the end of your document. So when I tell you that your paper must be 3 pages, I don't mean that you can write 2 pages and then tack on a 1-page works cited page. Rather, I mean your essay should be 3 full pages and the works cited page would be a 4th additional page. The works cited page, like all the other pages of your document, should be double spaced, and your last name should appear in the upper right hand corner of the page, and as should the page number. So same basic formatting. The phrase works cited should be centered at the top of your page, and it should look just like this. You would capitalize the W and the C. The whole phrase is not capitalized, it's not in bold, it's not underlined, it's not italicized. It is presented in this manner: the capital W and the capital C, the other letters lowercase. You need to include an entry for each of the sources you quote in your essay, and the list of entries needs to be alphabetized by the author's last name. If the author's name is unknown, and you really need to make sure that it's unknown, you alphabetize the entry according to the title of the text. So if you cite something from an online article called Smart Students, an article that did not have a known author, this source would be alphabetized by the S in the title, the S in Smart Students. So the works cited entry would appear after a book authored by Jim Arliss, but would appear after a book authored by Jim Arliss, but before a book authored by Takema Washington. So now you have these basic facts about the basic structure of a works cited page. You have to have the phrase works cited centered at the top of the page, and the page is alphabetized by author's last name. If there is no known author, you alphabetize by the title of the work. So here we go. I'm going to show you the format for organizing an entry for a book. You start with the author's last name. You capitalize, obviously, the first letter of the last name, comma, space, first name, period, space. Then in italics, you put the title of the book, because you know that longer works, their titles are usually italicized. So we give the title italicized, followed by a period, a space. Then we give the city of publication. Sometimes you'll notice that when you open up a book, the publisher has locations in a variety of cities. In that case, you would choose the location that is closest to you. You don't need to give all of them. So you list the city, then you put a colon, then a space, then the publisher's name, followed by a comma, then you add the copyright year, followed by a period, and then the medium of publication. So for this class, you would either have use the word print for a good old-fashioned book or article that you actually located in the library or got from a bookstore, or you would put down web. So if you found this book online and read it online, you would put down the medium would be web. So let me give you a concrete example. And this is a book that is written by someone named David Reynolds. So we would use his last name, comma, first, David. Then the title of his book, the full title is Whitman's America, colon, a cultural biography. The city of publication is New York. Follow that by a colon, a space. It was published by Alfred A. Knopf. Followed by a comma. The copyright year 1996. Period. Space. Print, because I have it as a book. So clearly I need to double space this. But what you're noticing is that this entry extends beyond one line. So this is a little bit unusual, and you should know this important fact about Works Cited page. The first line of each entry is at the regular left margin. If your entry extends beyond one line, you indent all the extra lines 5 spaces. So for this entry to be correct, you would need to indent it. So if your entry goes beyond one line, you need to indent all the lines except for the first one. Now I want to tell you how to create an entry for an article in a scholarly journal that you access through an online database. So again, you start with the author's last name, then the first name. You put the title of the article in quotation marks because it's a shorter work, and as we've discussed, titles of shorter works belong in quotation marks. The period goes right after the E in article and before the quotation mark, the title of the article. Then you give the title of the journal, be consistent, and the title of the journal is italicized. Give a period followed by the volume number, a period, and the issue number. Now, you only need to give the numbers. You don't need to write the word volume or any abbreviation or anything like that with issue. Just give the numbers. Like, so it could be 32.2. The volume number, the period, an issue number. Then in parentheses, you put the year of publication, followed by a colon, and then you give the start page, use a dash or hyphen, and the end page of the article. Period. Then you give the name of the database, and the name of the database is in italics, followed by a period. You're going to write web because you access your Academic Search Premier through the web. And then you give the day, sorry, I don't have it set to format automatically. The day of the month, the abbreviation for the month, and the year that you accessed this database and this particular article, followed by a period. So here again, there's just a lot of little details, but once you know the rule, it's not that hard. However, you need to get practice doing it. So what you're going to do right now is put what you learned into practice by creating an entry for Gandhi's art. So this is the article that you just had to read, and it's definitely going to be one of the sources in your next paper. So we'll go over how to do it right now, and then we'll make sure you really mastered what I've covered in this little video.